Monday Bully Live. Guys, you already know we're doing it at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. My name is Raul from QBN Kennels. I've been breeding American Bullies now for about 10 years, and joining me is going to be none other than my peeps. We got Mr. Donald Gay. Is that you, Donald? No, that's Mike Green. Man, I'm telling you, I can't tell them apart.
Mike G.
Yeah, we got Gary Pope. We got Gary Pope from King Pope Kennels, all the way from Maryland over here. And today we're going to be talking about establishing a kennel. What do you mean? Yeah, we're going to be talking about establishing your kennel. And this gentleman here, how long have you been breeding, Gary?
What was it? 2018, probably like 8 years now.
8 years. All right. I got about 10 under my belt, so that's 18 years. How about you, Mike?
I say 4 years is when I bought my first dog. So Donald been breeding. That's my mentor. So I think Donald started he got about 8 years maybe breeding American Bullies. He bred other dogs.
So we got 8 over there with Donald. We got 4 with you. So that gives us a grand total of 30 years of breeding experience talking to you. Before I continue real quick, Kyle, put that down for a second. Get your button ready on a new member. We got Omar McCallum just became a new member, man.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón. We're here every Monday at 7 p.m., man. We got Schwango saying, where did you see the video, Kahiki? Okay, y'all carrying the conversation. What's good, QBNK family? What's good? We got Jair Grimm in the house. Maurice Humboldt, like always. Kahiki Sakata. IG. We got A&W Dracula Kennels Bully. We got Adam Fields in the house. We have Infamous all the way in the Marinara Islands in Middle Pacific. Half a die. Gonna catch what I can, but I'm gonna rewatch this. I can understand, bro. It's like 3 a.m. over there or something like that. RGB saying good evening. Thank you for coming, RGB. Ghost Dog, salute, Bully fan. And Sarata in the house. Good evening. Freedy Strevia, like always. And we have Georgetown Bullies in the house. Domingo Muril. May the learning continue. And tapped in from Missoula, Montana. Yeehaw. All right, man. Listen, let's get this thing started about establishing a kennel, man. Establishing a kennel. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, guys. Let's give the people watching us the type of information that, you know, we would give to, say, a son of ours that was just about to start breeding. Let's give him the good insight, man. Mike Green, I know you got some good insights. What's a good insight for establishing a kennel nowadays in 2024 going on to 2025?
Well, one, I would say, man, if you had to have some type of experience to start a kennel, and you have to go out and buy the right dog. So like whatever that phenotype is that you like, there's probably about 4 different phenos to me. But what you like, I would start with a great dog, a great producer, and buy a female off of that line that carry those traits. And I'll spend the money. If I could do it all over again, I would. So the whole idea is to get that sire of the sires is the grandsire on the dame side.
On the mother's side. Yeah.
On the mother's side. So if I'm thinking that way, I look at that dog that I really like or attracted to, that phenotype, and I would get 2 females from 2 different lines that way, where I know that I can breed them down the line together, the pups, off of what I create. But I want to get to that key deal. This is the sire of the pups is the grandsire of the pups on the dame side,
the female side. Yeah. I agree with you in that. I can tell you this, guys. When I started breeding 10 years ago, I knew enough, even though I wasn't a seasoned breeder at that point, I knew enough to have a common denominator dog in my yard. At the time, the common denominator dog that I went with was Terrorist Threats, which was the biggest razor's edge dog at the time. All right. And we had terrorist threats as either a grandfather, a father, or a great grandfather in our lineage. I can tell you, I saw a lot of consistency. I also saw recreations of terrorist threats because we had them back in the lineage. So definitely, I want to agree with Mike. You definitely want to keep a common denominator. Gary, how about his comment? What do you think about his comment?
Oh yeah, definitely. But it's some people just. I say the main thing that a lot of people need to do is just do their research, and you know what I'm saying, because like the average person like wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying, don't even know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you know what I mean. You have to literally show it to them on a piece of paper, and it's just harder for some people to like grasp the theories of breeding and stuff like that. Then I mean, like, and to me, like, to start a kennel, I mean, you got to be an animal lover kind of first, really. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't really love the dogs, like, it's going to come a time where you go mistreat them. You're not going to do something that you should be doing for the dogs. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, like, don't even get into it if you you know what I'm saying, if you don't love the animals.
Well, how about we and look, I agree with what you're saying, bro. If you don't love the dogs, if you don't have a passion for this, don't get into it. But let
Yeah.
me be 100% clear. I mean, we're not lying to anybody here. We know that the great majority of people that are breeding, they love the dogs to a certain extent, but they're really in it for a business, right?
Right.
It really is a business proposition. It's a way to have either passive or active income. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Whether let's get off of the moral side for a second and let's get into the reality of it. A lot of people see this as a side hustle, which I'm going to tell you guys right now. If you think you're going to do breeding as a side hustle, it's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is because the amount of time that you got to put into breeding in order to make it successful, where you can have viable income, make a profit, and keep your program going, you just can't do it part-time, guys. It doesn't work. This is one of the reasons why so many breeders don't make it. The amount of time. Look, this man down here, Gaines Bullies, I just seen he dropped a piece of he made a video with Donald Gaines. He had people come and visit and whatnot. Think about it, man. The amount of money you're investing in that camera, the time that you got to have to be the cameraman to be able to take these shots, because they're not taken by themselves. In addition, you also got to have the facilities to be able to show it off. Plus, you got people, you got the timing when the people come and see you. So, you see that piece and it's maybe a minute long on Facebook or however long they allow shorts to be. My point is, if you start adding up all the components, you realize, dude, that was like an hour for 1 minute production. He had to set up, have the lighting right, have the camera, have the people, have the facilities, blah, blah, blah. So it's not something you're going to do part-time and be successful at. At least I don't believe it. We have a question from a member. Let me see if I can bring up people's faces here a little bigger. There you go. McBully Kennel says, my girl has a couple of raw spots on her paws. I've been putting bag balm and she licks it off. Do you have any suggestions? I'm gonna let you guys go first, man. Any suggestions for that? She has a couple of raw spots on her paws and bag balm. She's licking it off. What else can she do?
I would say we talked earlier about a mixture of white vinegar, peroxide, alcohol, and I had water. You had suggested another chemical to help dry it out, but it's just the moisture in between the feet. So I would say spray it, dry it right there, and go with that. Just keep them feet dry, even if you have to put some little socks on it.
I was going to say that. Yeah,
That's what I'm
if you gotta put
doing.
little socks, for treatment, I do that. But the key is to keep them feet dry. They come in from outside, they're in wet environment or something like that that could build that yeast between the toes and everywhere and spread to the ear. But I've seen some dogs who hadn't exercised that get up on the concrete and they scrape them pads out so they have to walk them a little more. Not used to walking. I've seen that before. Hello.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. You're good.
Oh.
What happened is I got a call and I had to let him know real quick that I'm live. I couldn't take the call. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend socks. Now, mind you, I know the next thing you're going to say is she takes the socks off. So my recommendation is go to either Walgreens or CVS or any of them places, and they have them bandages. Make sure you don't put it on too tight either. Just bandage it to where it goes all the way around and it hooks up on there. That way, go ahead.
They probably also could put that bitter spray on the deal or squeeze some lemon on there or something.
Yeah, make them not want it.
Make them not want to touch them socks.
Yeah, very valid point, man. Pendejo says video sound quality for gains is next level tonight. Oh, watch out. They're paying attention, bro.
Hey, I got a new setup, man. I got a new setup. So I got a Rode mic over the top, and I got an FX30 filming right here, so you can see the laptop here. But we got the 3-camera setup, so when Donald get back, it'll be able to switch between me and Donald as we speak, and then when we're not speaking, it'll show the wide angle of both of us together.
There you go, man. Stepping it up, bro. That's what it's all about. We have RGB asking a question. She's saying, how you do it when they ask to go see the puppies before putting a deposit. It's hard to trust people nowadays. This is such a valid point, man.
Today.
It happened today. Talk to me, Gary.
A guy that I know was like nervous to go meet the person and all that. So I told him, go to a public place. It was broad daylight outside. It was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I told him, go to a public place. I said, if you're that nervous, tell them meet you at the state's police barracks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And
right.
If they serious, they don't care where you go meet them at. You know what I mean? So yeah, that'll scare them off, to say the least. If they give you any flack on that, like, oh nah, man, or whatever, then maybe that's not the place the puppy need to go.
So we had two visits on the weekend. So last weekend and this weekend. So Carrie Ann Floyd and Brian Floyd, they flew from Indiana. Sit down, we showed them Amarillo, spent all day with them. You know what I mean? And no deposits. They came to put hands on the puppies. We don't take deposits till 4 weeks. But as you build your kennel, you build your potential clients. You're not worried about, that type of client. You know what I mean? That hadn't been a worry. The other visit, they came and visit the yard, and then they went to a show with me where I judged that. So I think as you continue to build your dogs, as you build your brand and your program, you get better potential clients. I would say.
Absolutely.
You got to be like a jack of all trades. You got to do you got to be your own cameraman, your own promotion. You got to be able to talk to the people too. A lot of times people just can't communicate with each other, and that's what messes up a lot of stuff right there to me.
That's right.
And the part I want to add to that is not only do you have to be the cameraman, the dude putting it up on social media, the person dealing with the dogs and all that. The reason it's important that one person is doing all this is because if one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing, your brand is not going to succeed.
No,
it's got to be a one voice. And that's why in my brand, for example, I got people writing me on Instagram from a video I dropped 2 years ago. But because I made the video and I dropped the video and I know what I'm talking about as far as that particular topic, it's easy for me to just grab it and respond immediately, which is also one thing I would tell a lot of people out there that are starting out is be very careful with fake it till you make it clowns out here. Not just this community, but any breeding community. There's a lot of people out here that will see what Mike is doing, copy what he does, and act like they know what the hell they're doing, right? And then sheep don't know any better. They're going to follow that. The problem you have is that person is just using you for monetary gain. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They haven't been breeding for 10 years. They've only had 1 or 2 litters under their belt. What are they going to tell you? They're just as new as you are, right?
Right.
But they love to do that, especially in this social media world. And one of the ways you're able to pretty much figure them out is tell them to go live like this and answer my questions quick time like that. No, don't go look it up on a book. Don't go online. Don't go calling your little friend that's giving you the info. No. Come out here and talk the talk. And that's how you're going to know real quick if they're faking the funk or they're for real. If they've never done a live, I guarantee you, if they're doing social media and they're getting views, if they don't do a live where they're answering your question, it's because of their personal choice. And you can figure out as to why. I'm just keeping it real with you, man. Go ahead.
Oh, I think so. Where I started, I never got in to breed a dog at all. I bought a dog off of Donald to throw a ball to. We had like I said, we had a urn in the garage. We had a garage day spring cleaning, and we ran across that of a very nice dog we had. That was a pit mix. It was a what do you call them dog? It was a catch and hold dog. It was a hog hunter, and generations of that. So it was a great dog. And my wife told me, hey, you need to get you a dog. And I ended up with the female, but it was to throw a ball to. It never thought about breeding a female. And so like I said, we ended up taking the show because people online, they were like, you show the dog. So I showed the dog, and I just how do you say that? I got obsessed with it because I coach kids, I've done train kids, coach kids. We've been in competition. We went across all over the United States. So it fit what I was doing. You know what I mean? What I've done before. So I experienced doing that. With the dogs, they didn't talk back. And then after I hit the road, Donald, I said, Donald, man, that dog nice. You ought to take that one. So he took the dog, and then we built a relationship on, 6 hours driving and just telling each other stories, you know what I mean? Our backgrounds. And that relationship grew, and then he brought me in as a partner. I'm like, hey, what that mean, man? I'm not, you know what I mean? And
right.
Yeah. So he brought me in as a partner and taught me, everything that he knew, you know what I mean? So, and then, from there, it just grew, the passion grew, and like, man, what kind of puppy I could get off of this type of breeding,
But Mike, I gotta intervene, bro, because you look motivated. Like you got a blue hat, you got a blue shirt. Like what's up? What's up with this blue theme? What's going on with you, bro?
I tell you, I was judging the show, man, and I had blue on. It's my favorite color. You know what I'm saying? But I wore blue tonight because blue. I'm feeling blue, motherfucking berry blue, man.
What?
Like blue eyes.
You talking about this right here, Mike? Oh yeah.
I can't stop thinking about you. The way you walk, the way you stand, the way you do you. Blueberry motherfucker, you. That's right.
Yeah. All right, man. All right, Mike. So you got the blueberry motherfucker blues?
Yeah.
That's what you got.
And the youngsters was like, Mr. Green, what's up with all that blue, man? I like, man, it ain't what you think. It's not what you think, man. It's my favorite color.
Hey, we got a question. Georgetown Bully says, how do y'all handle ear infections? Before we can answer, Adam Fields jumped on that. It says apple cider vinegar, chlorhexidine. Is there anything else you add to that mix?
I do the same. That same spray for the foot that I mentioned earlier is pre-treatment, and you're just trying to keep that yeast. Because what happens with the ear infection?
Yeah,
they get the itch between their toes, and then they scratch. If you smelling any type of corn chips,
Fritos,
Frito smell, like, man, get on it heavy, man. Wash your feet, get between them toes, keep them dry, and it'll prevent them from scratching them ears.
Well, the one thing I would add to that is going to be alcohol, guys. And to be honest with you, I stopped doing apple cider vinegar for the ears. Okay, I'll do apple cider vinegar for the bath, right? But not necessarily for the ear. I'm using white vinegar for the
White
ear.
vinegar. Yeah.
Why? Why is that? The reason for that is the white vinegar, right, is not going to allow anything in there to pretty much decay, whereas with the apple cider, it can. In addition, I'll add alcohol. So it'll be 1 part apple cider vinegar, right?
No, white vinegar.
Yeah, white vinegar, 1 part alcohol and 1 part water. I will mix that, throw it in there. All the alcohol is there for is to dehydrate. Now, Adam Fields, let me disagree with you. I will not put chlorhexidine in the ear. And the reason you will not put chlorhexidine in the ear is because chlorhexidine can become caustic. And it could actually eat away. So you don't want to do that. All right. Go with white vinegar, water, and alcohol.
I add peroxide on top of that. So quarter.
Yeah, you can do peroxide, then go quarter. That can definitely work. We have Omar McCallum saying, since the breed is fairly new and made from 4 different breeds, why is the ABKC the only catalyst registry for the breed and not other registries as well, especially with the access of DNA testing? Either one of you gentlemen want to jump on that?
Yeah, that was a good ass question. That deserves a spin. You got to be.
Go ahead, man.
You got to be thinking about it. I'll come back.
Okay. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on that then. My 2 cents is, first and foremost, you're never gonna get say, for example, the UKC as being the catalyst for this breed, because the UKC is made up of so many other different breeds. And they cannot cater to just one specifically. Whereas the ABKC, even though they also have different breeds within it, it is exclusive or more exclusive to the American Bully. In addition to that, in my personal, this is just my personal opinion, guys. I feel a lot of the other registries pretty much copy what the ABKC does because it was the founding registry for this breed. So I don't want to take a shot. I don't want to make it seem like I'm taking a shot at the USBR, but the USBR, in my opinion, is gonna walk in step with the ABKC. It's not going to necessarily run ahead of it. That's just my opinion, right? BRC Global, they've done a little bit of here and there to include recognizing Merles before the ABKC did. And the ABKC had to respond and say, okay, Merles don't go in the ring, but you could register Merle litters with us. So in all, I mean, there's plenty others. If I didn't mention them, please, I'm not trying to take a shot at them. It's just too many to talk about.
Yeah.
But make no mistake about it, the ABKC is the founding registry of this breed. They're the ones that set the pace. Anything you want to add to that, King Pope or Mike?
No, you hit it. You hit it on the money. A lot of the people that started the other registries started in the ABKC, so they branched off and started their own registry.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. ABKC was the originator, and it was like, and they branched. Other people started their own things, and they just seen that they can throw the Merles or the exotics and micros in there too, since they wasn't. You know what I mean? So they just put it all in there.
They gave a platform for people with those type of dogs to go out and show that wanted to do that, because it's fun. Showing dogs is fun.
Yeah, exactly. We have a question here from Drippy. Drippy says, so as starting out, when you got pups on the ground and you sell them out, what would you invest the money in? First, a bigger facility, a future future stud breedings. What would you prioritize as far as investing once you sold out your first litter?
Well,
Mike, I can't
Go ahead.
see you, man. Your camera just went blank. I'm gonna push you
Oh,
back.
can
Give
you
me a
hear me?
thumbs up when you're ready. I can hear you, but I can't see you. What would you start out with, Gary?
After I sold the first litter that I've
You
done?
sold the first litter. You got yourself, I don't know. Let's just throw a number, make it easy. 15 grand in your hands. And what are you doing? Facilities or future stud breedings? What are you investing the money in?
I mean, I guess depends on what I have at the moment, but I say at the very least, I'm going to lock in my next stud if I didn't already do it. If not, I might even pay the whole thing off, depending on, you know what I'm saying, who he is and all that stuff.
Right.
I might just go pay him off, get it out the way. And it depends on the female. If I know she got to get a C-section and stuff like that, you might want to put that money to the side too. You know what I mean?
Okay. Me personally, I feel that first litter, every single dollar you get back from it is to be reinvested back in your program.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
everything, cages, whatever. I mean, whatever to step your stuff up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think too many times, too many people that are new into this and view it as a side hustle because they're not completely like sold into it. They start half-assing because they're sticking their hands in that profit for themselves, whether it's to invest in a car, pay rent, whatever the case may be. Honestly, if you drop the first litter and you sold out and you got 15 grand, that is a great opportunity for you to upgrade your facilities and lock in your next stud. You should be able to lock in a next stud up to $5,000. There's plenty of excellent studs out here for up to $5,000.
If not even buy a puppy for $5,000.
Right.
A female that's, you know what I'm saying, a type of
you can do so many
everything that you really want.
Yeah, you could buy yourself a female stud. Lock in the stud for $5 grand. So you still got $5 grand left over. Grab about, I don't know, 1,500 of that and just allot it for food. And now you got $3,500 that you could work on your facilities, bro.
Yeah.
I'm always working on my facilities. I just finished putting cement in one of our cages, and I still got another 5 cages to go. Right. Each cage is costing me not even $80 to put the cement myself, put the metal mesh that you need, setting it all up. It's taking about 20 bags of cement per cage. And cement's running, I'm going to round it to 350, but it's actually a little bit less than that. It's like 339, but who cares? 350. So, do the math, man. It comes out to roughly about $80, and I'm constantly upgrading the facilities. So definitely, I feel that you can go in several different directions. Drippy, that was an excellent question. Mike, what do you do with the first $15,000 you made off of your first litter? Do you invest in your facilities? Do you buy a pup? Do you lock in your next stud, or do you do all of the above? What do you do?
Yeah, I would say it just depends on where you're lacking at. I mean, like if you can get by, like all my dogs live in the house with me. You know what I mean? So there's no facility I need to buy right now on the mesh of dogs. So I would spread that out. If you're doing shows, you're gonna have to pay for those. So I'll probably get me, I show dogs, so I'll probably lock in 3 booths, 4 booths, for upcoming shows. Have them on a schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, have them on a schedule. Get them locked in. Now, if it's a stud, if you're starting out, I wouldn't be looking at, some crazy stud prices, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. Don't do that because
$5,000 stud is more than enough, bro. Especially if you drop your first litter, right?
Right, but that's $5,000 stud. I wouldn't be looking at that range. I'll be looking at $1,500, $2,500 studs.
That's possible too.
Right.
Yeah.
There's great dogs out there. Today, there's a lot of great dogs out there in that price range I'd say from $1,500 to $3,500. You know what I mean? So
that's fair.
Yeah, I would look into a camera gear or something I'm able to market what I have. You know what I mean? So maybe I get a lock in on a stud or pay a whole stud credit off, but I would get gear to promote and market my brand. So you got to be thinking of how to build a brand is what I would do with that. What I would do with my money. You may need a website. website, you know what I mean? Invest in the website.
Building a brand, man.
Building a brand.
Invest in hats, shirts,
get your merch.
Get it going. Yeah,
Get
too
it
many
going.
too many people. Would you agree that too many people stick their hands in that profit? And that may be one of the reasons why they don't do well, because they don't reinvest.
I mean, you could have times where, you know what I mean, the car break down and that money, you know, you have no control of or whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe you know what I'm saying? So you use that, but people go out and they'll have this 15,000 and like, golly, man, I'm gonna give me some new shoes, some get some rims. You know what I mean?
Look, you know, I had a friend of mine. He wanted to breed, and we were having a conversation, and you just reminded me of something. I had just sold a litter, and I had X amount of dollars. I'm not going to specify, but he was talking to me because he was trying to get maybe into breeding or not. And then out of nowhere, he said, you know, I can't do that. And I said, why, bro? Like, you know, you just got to appropriate, you know, this and that. He's like, look, you need to understand, bro. I came from humble beginnings. I've never seen that much money together at once.
Right.
If I see it in front of me, I hear what you're telling me right now. I don't see that money in front of me. But the minute that money's there in front of me, I already know I'm not going to know what to do with myself. And I thought it was a very fair, you know, comment that he had made, bro. Because if you don't have discipline, same way you came in, it's about to head right back out, man. And you're going to be back in square one.
Yeah. So another thing too, you can take that money and put it in insurance, man, and you know, we got a higher interest on that. Let that flip up or put it in some type of stocks. You know what I mean?
But that's more for further down once you got true profit coming in. When you sell that first litter, yeah, you can view that as profit, but really, bro, that's not profit. You got to reinvest back in your program.
Yeah.
Why is it? Because you know how many times I've seen the same breeder with the same facility and the same dogs, and 4 years have gone by, and you're like, dude, I know you sold pups in 4 years. There's no way a program can stay afloat 4 years without you selling pups. You mean to tell me you pocketed everything that came in? You gave nothing to the dogs?
Yeah.
You see, and people notice that.
Well, what I would notice is say you never keep nothing off the litter to continue to build. You know what I mean? You're not trying to go on. You're just trying to sell every pup. And they're the ones that usually fail, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's how can I believe in a brand when you're not believing in your brand yourself?
In your brand yourself, right?
Yeah.
Now
we got
if you down the road and you breeding pups and they don't come out like you expected them to come out, then you sell them all and pet home.
Situations happen. I'm gonna give you a scenario where I sold every pup in a litter. I don't accustom to do that, but I had to do that.
Right.
I needed a male, and I did the breeding, and I had 5 females and 1 male. If you know anything about probabilities, you need a certain amount of dogs, sample size, so you can pick what you wanted. I felt I was going to shortchange myself keeping that 1 male. There was nothing wrong with that male. That male was phenomenal. Okay, I was able to sell the male and also keep 3 stud credits back, right? But I wanted to repeat a breeding so that I can get enough of a sample size to get exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Now, was that every single breeding? No, that wasn't happening every single breeding, guys. That happened that one particular breeding because that's what I was looking for and I couldn't get it.
You said a key thing though, and that's the thing, how you got to be thinking. Like you had that 1 male and you got credits back off of it.
Yes. Yes.
You know, you just sell a male with nothing back off of it.
No.
Right.
No. That's also if you guys are new to breeding, if you are selling males, I would come down on the price. You see, this is where a lot of you shoot yourself in the butt, man.
Yep.
I'll come down on the price if I got to, but I want stud credits off of that pup. Why is that? Say you had 6 males and you couldn't keep one. You only kept the female off of the litter. but you kept the best stud credit off of those males. In reality, when the time comes, you could always use that back into your program. In fact, you could give it enough time and pick whichever one was the best male that's going to fit your upcoming breeding in the future. Instead, y'all just greedy, and you don't want to bring down the price. You don't want to do nothing. You just sell the male. Then a year and a half, 2 years down the line, you're crying because that male just became your number one competition. There you go. That's what you get for your greed. Real quick, man, we got Malachi. Kyle, do me a favor. Take those down for a second. We got Malachi. He says, at what point or reason did you guys decide you wanted to begin a program, or did you guys get a pup knowing you wanted to do so? I kind of don't understand that question. At one point or reason did you guys decide you wanted to begin a program? Okay. I can tell you before I got a pup, I wanted to build a program. That was always my lifelong dream. I'll let the other two tell you what it was with them. Again,
I fell into it, and actually, I don't even consider myself a breeder, and the reason why because I love the show side of it, but as we bred dogs, we wanted to breed better show dogs, and I wanted to breed better. It's so did Donald. I don't even care about breeding, but but as we started building dogs, we started getting better and better dogs, and it happened on every litter. And that's the fun part of it, you know, sitting down and going through them peds and matching and lining things up. And you know what I mean? And now we're in the DNA, you know, doing the genetic side of it. It's a hobby and it's fun, but it turned into, you know, if you want to say I'm a breeder, but I wouldn't consider myself a breeder. I'm just trying to make great dogs, man.
You are a breeder, man.
But I fell into it.
You're a breeder, man. Yeah, no, I can understand that maybe your number one motivation is to put dogs in the ring. I get that. Right. But that part of I'm just trying to make better dogs, that makes you a breeder, man. That makes you a breeder. Yeah. We got Bamboo Jenkins saying what's up. We got Drippy saying what's up, like always. Hollywood with the pop-ups. We got Furman Broom saying my first litter, I got Booth for Nationals, locked in my next stud. Food front fence to keep dogs away. I don't understand that part, guys. Please reread before you post. Dogs away from the roads. I guess you created a fence to keep the dogs from the road. Went to 2 shows and have covered my breeding up until now. We're 2 weeks from second. That's it, man. That's what you should be doing if you want to grow. You got to have long sight in this, not short sight. I'm going to give you a perfect example. 5 years ago, when I started really getting serious on this platform, the top dogs 5 years ago are nowhere to be found today. Nowhere. And not just now that it's been 5 years. I think if you roll the clock back about a year and a half, 2 years ago, they're nowhere to be found. So what it means is that one day you could be drinking wine and the next day you could be stepping on grapes real quick. If you're playing the short game, if you're playing the long game, that's a different story because you got so much grapes, right? And sometimes you're going to step on it, but eventually others will step on it for you so you can drink some wine. Just keep that in your mind. RGB is saying also for medical bills in case something happens. Yeah, you should have, especially if you have a female, you should have something in reserve. $3,000. Why? An emergency C-section is going to run you no less than $3,500. I'm just letting you know right now. Right? So you want to have that in reserve. Don't just go spend the money and then female needs an emergency C-section and now you're pulling your hairs out. And then I see you writing on social media, I'm going to get rid of my dogs. My heart's just not in it. No, bro. It's not that your heart ain't in it. You didn't know how to manage it. You got too greedy when you shouldn't have.
Hey, the other thing, man, you're going to have some type of money coming into it, man. It's expensive. Especially start showing because we were paying handlers and everything going to the show, and I have a partner, and we split costs. And I can tell you it costs $1,200 to $1,500 a show, just depending on how many dogs you take. You know what I mean? So, and by us going to shows and meeting people and networking, we're doing like 15 shows a year. You know what I mean? At the beginning,
that's 20 grand.
We ain't talking about breeding a dog yet, but I'm just saying on building a brand, we got out there and people got to see who we was, and then you gotta have an attitude for it. You know what I mean? You can't be a messed up person, man, with a bad attitude. You know what I mean? And you gotta be able to talk to people. Don't be gun shy. And you see somebody like Raul at a show, man, approach him. You know what I mean? But it took 2 years of just that, and my background in videography and photography. I've done real estate. I've done weddings, high school pictures. I've done it professionally. So I had that coming into to add to Games Bullies.
Absolutely.
So Donald had a role and I had a role. So you notice Donald don't post, and I tag him every now and again. So I do all the posting. You know, I got that part of it.
So let me stop you there. Let me talk to Gary. Gary, let me ask you a question, bro. Because these two guys, they're doing something that's completely exceptional, in my opinion. It is rare to see two people running a kennel together, right? The way they're doing it. My question to you, Gary, and never mind, Mike is not in the room right now. If I was to ask you, ideally, and I'm asking you for everyone watching, ideally, is it a good idea to start a kennel with someone else, or do you recommend to start it on your own?
I mean, it depends on the person. If they're like-minded and both of y'all are bringing something to the table, you know what I mean? Like, this person is, you know what I'm saying, got this on lock, you know what I'm saying? I got this part on lock, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be the handler, the shower, you're going to be the breeder, the trainer, or both of us do the training, you know what I mean? Like, y'all got to both kind of bring something to the table, and it's not always going to be just a money part, you know what I mean? You can have somebody that's just throwing money, like, oh man, go buy this puppy or pay for this stud fee, but they sitting back not cleaning up no shit. They're not, you know what I'm saying? They're not doing a whole bunch of other stuff that comes down to it, and you know what I mean? So it depends on that partner, really, a lot of times.
All right, so I'm gonna say what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. I don't recommend starting a kennel with somebody else. I don't recommend it, especially if they're family or they're close friends. What Mike and Donald have going on, in my opinion, is something super exceptional. First of all, you're looking at two mature men, right? They ain't no spring chicken, and I mean nothing by that. All I mean is their expectations are somewhat more realistic than, you know, two young guys getting together. Not only that, I've seen friendships, I've seen families split over a female that gave birth to a pup that was out of this world, and all of a sudden one friend or one family member decided, you know what, I'm keeping it, screw you, we're gonna make it happen. I'm just keeping it real. What they got going on, and you know, Gary, what you're saying is true, but how many times is the person in line with you today, and in a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years, all of a sudden they feel that first pick pup should be in their yard and they should be able to command top dollar for any studdings, and you should have no say. How many times do we not see all this drama going on online?
You're absolutely correct. And we jumped off the porch late. Like I said, I've been doing it 4 years, you know, so you're absolutely correct. Donald's retired and established over there. He did some early investments. You know what I mean? As a youth, he was taught how to do that by his dad. And so he but then his profession, you know, his job that he had, you know, he ran and managed, you know, I'm not gonna say what he managed, but anyway, and then I've been doing the job I've been doing about 30 years. So I managed that stuff there, but so it was no egos involved at all. And me and Donald right now, like when we decide we don't want to breed another dog, we both just walk away and not even do it. Like, but you have to, like you were saying, you have to make some type of money to pay for the shows, the travel.
Here's the other part, man, that I'm gonna just throw it out there, right? I have always said you need to bring your partner on board. Your wife, right? You need to bring her on board.
Yeah.
You need to let her know what it is. And I'm gonna let you guys know something right now. If your wife is not 100% on board, don't jump in. Don't jump in, because you're gonna set yourself up for failure. Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is you're gonna have to make promises to her in order to make her buy in.
That's right.
If you find yourself having to make promises to make them buy in, don't do it. Because you're going to promise her, look, this female, when she's 2, we're going to breed her and we're going to sell pups at $2,000 a pop. And she's going to have 8 puppies and it's going to be 16 grand and this, that, and the third. And your wife is just looking at the clock. Every time she looks at that dog, she's looking at the clock and she wants to see 16 grand as soon as that dog hits 2 years old and she's bred. So what happens if she didn't take?
There you go.
What happens if she had a singleton?
There you go.
What happens? What happens if she had all 8 pups you said, but none of them sold?
Yeah.
What happens? My point to you is you got to understand your limitations. And you cannot put your relationship on the line. A lot of you don't even realize it. I've seen people get divorced or broken up over breeding. And mostly has to do with the fact that the woman's expectations, or better yet, your partner's expectations, because it could go the other way, their expectations, you have put them up so high that when you don't meet them, that's when, the higher you go, the harder the fall. So definitely, man, if your wife or significant other is not 100% on board, don't jump in. Real quick, man, we got Georgetown Bullies asking, how many females are y'all starting off with? So if right now I took all your dogs away and you were starting out, what would you start out with? And say you could start out with 2 dogs. It could be a male, a female, 2 males, or 2 females. What are you starting out with?
I'm starting out with 2 females, but how I started, like I said, when Donald brought me on the team, Donald had like 4 females. I had 1. So I went from 4 to 5, and it was an even split down all of them. That's how unselfish he was. You know what I mean? So, but if you could, that's just me. You know what I mean? But if I could start off, it would be 2 females, and it'd be in that order. I would look at that phenotype, where it's a Lucky line, a Rocco line, a Muscle Tone line, a Waffle House line. I would look and see, I would get a female daughter off of one of them 2 for future breeding. Okay. It takes about 4 years to get where you want to go. Yeah,
I would start out same with 2 females. I would make sure both females are from the same line that I'm getting. Okay. I don't want to get a female from one line and a female from another, because that's what the stud is for. If you want to bring in a different line, you can, and make it an outcross. I mean, you're asking, I'm just answering a question. I would get 2 females, make sure they're from the same line. What about you, Gary?
Yeah, I would start off with 2 females and be looking for my studs that I'd be wanting to use down the road.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
The reason why I go different lines, I'm looking for similar phenotypes. So if you get females from 2 different lines, you want to make sure that phenotype is the same.
It's the same.
What you want to do is you want to outcross those and then breed them, then type breed them, bring them back. So that's the reason why.
That's how I kind of did.
But they're gonna be from front to back. So you gotta know what you're looking at. They're gonna be good front to back, and they're gonna have a lot of bone on a female. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm looking for. As long as the phenotype's the same, I would do 2 lines. It's just the same line.
Yeah, even if you're studying to an outcross, even if you're doing an outcross, my recommendation is you want to line them up phenotypically. You don't want to go with a dog with a short muzzle that you already have and go with a dog with a long muzzle, because Now you're just bringing in an issue that you don't have, right? So the process of elimination is definitely going to push your yard further.
And I'm only talking. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm only talking from my experience. You know what I mean? So I've seen what worked with us and the bloods that work. I'm only talking from that. Like I can't tell you anything about the, you know, I get calls sometime and they're like, "Hey, I got this female. What male should I breed her to?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. I have no idea, man. What do you want to breed to? What is your idea? You know, what's your vision of?"
That's almost like me calling you. I'm at a car dealer, and what car should I get?
There you go.
And you're like, bro, first of all, what's your favorite color? Let's start with that, right? Are you going to be transporting dogs in there or not? What do you, because sometimes people think that they just drop a question like that on you, and it's really unfair to even answer. We have Omar McCallum. Omar McCallum says, "Thanks for the answer and perspectives. So it's safe to say that whatever registry best suits your breeding or kennel goal." And my response to that is going to be, yeah. Let me explain something to you and be perfectly clear with you. Say, for example, let me go back. All right, so let me give you an example. Say my female, a female I bred and made off of my girl Aruba. She wasn't a whole year old here just yet, but her name is Athena. She's beautiful. She has now matured and looks so much better. But nonetheless, in this community, she's not considered to have the heaviest bone. We've since bred her to a dog that definitely has more bone than her. She would this particular dog would do better in the UKC registry than she ever will in the ABKC. Just keeping it real with you is the reality of it. So a lot of times I have found that there are breeders that will actually favor one registry over another based on what it is that they're producing. Okay. In my particular scenario, I wanted to bring more breed type and more girth to my line. So, I started out with Aruba. I started out with Fireball. Nothing wrong with these dogs. Nothing wrong whatsoever. In fact, we call Fireball Mr. Perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to bring girthier dogs to the XL. So if I continued down the path where I was at, first of all, it was going to take forever because all I did was line breed. But just so you can have an idea, right now we have a 16-month-old female, this female right here named Callie, right? She's the only XL left in the yard. And the reason I'm bringing her up and I want to show you guys is because essentially what I want to do is have the bone proportion that you're seeing on this girl here. This is our girl Sunshine. The bone proportion that you're seeing on her, I'm trying to bring exactly what you're seeing there to the XL level, right? And I felt that I wouldn't be able to bring it the way I want to bring it, which is with a lot of breed type, if I kept pulling from the same XL lines, right? So I'm just giving you a little bit of background so you guys could understand, right? Breeding comes down to the breeder, to the knowledge you have, and to the vision and goal that you want to attain. If Ali, for example, nothing against her, but at 16 months, if that's what you were looking for and that's what you got, then that's great. You got to your goal. We're not there yet. In fact, we're not even close. Because like I said, I want to bring this bone proportion, right, to this size. That's the goal, right? And whatever dog you're getting from a breeder, you should kind of have an idea what their goal is. It would also help you as far as what you're going to be attaining. Let's see here, man. I know I kind of jumped around a little bit. We got Jeremy Davis saying quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike. I didn't know you were going to say something.
Pictures to Kyle, and I'm just showing two different females that have no relation, and I just show you where we started at. I'm gonna show you the two females whenever Kyle can post them up.
Whenever he's got them ready. Okay. We got Jeremy Davis saying, quick question for you based on your live from your last week. Let's say you have a dog that's hybrid vigor. How would you personally pair the stud dam in a breeding you have planned? This is an excellent question, Jeremy. So when you have a dog, let me talk about hybrid vigor so we could all understand what we're talking about. So, for example, this girl Sunshine, right? Her dad and mom have no relation to each other. So they did something that's called, or when the breeding happened, this is called hybrid vigor. And that's when basically both the mom and the dad outmake themselves in the pup. But there's a caveat to that. There's always a but. The but is that dog, technically, unless the koi is high enough, in her case it is, she's at 20, technically, that dog is going to have a hard time passing on its traits. So let me give you a little background. The way we know this is because there's a lot of investment, or a lot more investment, in dog genetic and horse genetic testing than dog genetic testing. Why is that? Because of horse racing, right? Horse racing could be tracked to the mid 1800s, right? So long story short, there was a famous horse by the name of Secretariat, right? And what they found in this horse is that he was exceptional. He had a bigger heart and bigger lungs than most regular horses. He was a Triple Crown winner. He would beat you on the long race, on the medium race, and on the short race. Problem they found was Secretariat was not prepotent, which means he wasn't able to push forward his traits. The only time he would do that was when he was bred to a female of his same bloodline. But even then, even though he made some good horses, they were never as good as him. And that's because of him being hybrid vigor, right? And that's when you get the best of both worlds and they come together and they create something that's hybrid vigor. So my recommendation to you is, if you have a dog that's got hybrid vigor, you need to think what's going to happen in the next 2 generations. Do I want to inbreed him in order to create more of him? If that's the case, then you know you're going to take him to a female that's not going to set him back as far as structure is concerned. And then you're going to breed him to his daughter, right? And that's how you would inbreed him. If you just want to line breed him, then again, the same would take place, where you're going to go into a female that doesn't have too high of a koi. Because if you have a female, let's say the male's koi, he's got hybrid vigor, and let's say his koi is a 10. You take him to a female whose koi is 36, you pretty much not going to transmit anything from him, or just about. So you want to maybe take him to a female whose koi is somewhere around 12, 10, 8. That'd be better. And then you don't inbreed him to his daughter, but then you breed him to his granddaughter. That's if you want to do it as far as line breeding. But in my opinion, hybrid vigor, you're going to have to be a bit aggressive in order to lock that in. Unless he or she came from a very inbred dog and their koi is like at a 20, kind of like where Sunshine is. And that's enough to be able to transmit adequately.
Yeah. I don't all the way agree with that, with you, Raul.
You what? You always agree with me?
No, I don't all the way agree with what you're saying, but
you don't agree? Okay, so give him your peace of mind, bro.
I'm saying if you get to that perfect dog, and depend on what that hyper vigor, what you consider, not you, Raul, but whoever is identifying their dog. How do you know that dog is hyper vigor? But just say it's a show dog and he has 0 flaws. Anything you're gonna breed him to, you're gonna bring back some flaws, and you just trying to beat those flaws out. But that dog is still gonna be good. You know what I mean? So whether it's extreme or a show dog, whatever traits you're breeding for, I'm not worried about passing the traits on, because you got to think, man. Michael Jordan, he hyper vigor. Michael Jackson, that's hyper vigor. If you can't
LeBron,
LeBron James, you can't recreate these, and the songs that they produce can't be recreated. And Secretariat was a horse, and you got to think of the spirit of a horse. He had the bigger heart, he had the bigger lungs, but sometimes something is just so special. But not only that, is here. Secretariat did not want to lose, and if you know horseback, they have to run up front. That's the reason why they race. That's the alpha that runs up front, and you had it here. You know what I mean? And you'll have those. You can get so perfect that, or so special, blessed with these traits, it can't be passed on. They're only God given. And
I don't know, Mike. Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, he got it from Ken Griffey. It just doesn't happen as common. I will agree.
Can you name anything else? Because I could go down the line of everything out there as far as actors, businessmen, Elon Musk.
Let me give you an example.
Donald Trump got goddamn 10 kids.
Let me give you. Well, hey, and that young kid looks just like him, man. If you don't mind me saying so.
But if he's gonna be
looks
a
like
bigger
a mirror
man,
image. But look, let's take a dog right now who, in my opinion, is just phenomenal. And as far as him transmitting, and that's Hellboy from PBK. This dude, no matter who you're throwing, what he's going into, he's dropping his look time and time again. And then just the same way, I could think of quite a few dogs that are exceptional. And they're just not passing it through. So when we're talking, there is. I mean, you don't have to agree with me, but there is a level of, there are some dogs that are going to transmit consistently, and there's going to be some dogs where it becomes a little bit more difficult. Maybe they transmit when they're bred in their own line and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. You're right. And when I talk about 4 phenotypes, I say muscle tone, I'll say Lucky, I'll say Rocco, because then you go down the Rocco line, you got Grim, then you got a Grim son, Brim, and Golden Child. Like, for some reason that line is producing that Hellboy is a Brim son. You know what I mean? But he a combination with Lucky. You know what I mean? Like the combos. But there's certain and Waffle House, who is not tight bred, is producing like Hellboy as far as the waffle look. And that's why I get confused when I go to thinking of putting dogs together and how I want to blend dogs. You know what I mean? And, because they're outliers like them. You know what I mean? But there's not a lot of dogs out there producing like them dogs, like Hellboy and some of the other dogs you mentioned. They just don't produce like that, man. And I don't know what's special in them. I would say, as far as them breeders, they would have that hyper vigor, like you say.
Well,
and depend on what you're looking for.
You and I have sat there and we've seen certain pedigrees at times, and we also are aware of allele frequencies.
Right.
So we do know that some breeders trump the card because they'll line breed, inbreed, and then come back to a line breed, and you're like, oh man, that's really tight. Yeah, it's really tight, but it held together. It didn't fall apart. Some breeders may try the same thing and it fell apart. And if it did, oh well, now you're gonna have to cross because you brought it in too tight, right? But for some breeder, it's actually worked. Yeah,
but just say that the breed that I breed. Kyle, can you bring them 2 pictures up? Okay, so that's Bad Betty, right?
Right.
And bring the other one up. That's Pearl. So they similar, right? In body types and everything. Betty got her mouth open. If she had her mouth closed, then it'll look, the cheeks, you can see the baseball cheeks there. But they're similar, 2 similar females, even though they have no relation. But the body types and the breed type is what, you know what I mean, is what we put together.
That's fair. And that's fair, bro. And that's what breeders have been doing ever since breeding. And even today, and you guys know I'm big on genetics, I'm still thinking you got to put phenotype together and genetic is in the background. And that's just the way it's going to be. There's no way around it. Real quick, I want to send a shout out to Zena. Zena dropped 10 British pounds. Will my girl change in temperament after breeding? Because I've heard they can go dark or calm. I've never had it go bad before, but I know you said, Raul, it's natural to breed at least one time and go from there. Okay, so Zena, in my opinion, the only thing you're going to get from your girl after she has pups and goes through that process is more maturity. Typically, that's what I see. But I've never really seen a dog, say, have a type of personality, and then once she gives birth, that personality changes. It doesn't work that way. What I've noticed is they become more mature. They're more tolerant, that sort of thing. What you got, Mike?
I'd say you're absolutely right, but like the first time a female breeding, and it just depends on the female where they can change that. Like they'll guard the babies from, say, if you got another animal in the house.
Sure.
Like that mother instinct will kick in.
Yeah.
And they may bark where it wasn't a normal temperament of the dog, or they may stand, in front of the pool or something to prevent any dogs getting in there. But other than, a dog temperament stay that way, it's just the motherhood of it. And the first thing that changes is body type, the maturity, like you said, come out. Yeah, mentally as well. You got anything on that, Gary?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something pretty similar. You'll see like that motherly instinct almost, what I'm saying, kicked in on her. And yeah, she's not gonna be that same little puppy, no more after that.
Yep, no more playing games. We got Drippy Smooth saying the two females that you started with, you bred them, then you breed the half brothers and half sisters together. What is the number of dogs you should be keeping in your yard at this point? This is a good question, Drippy. I've always said I run a dynamic kennel, and that means I have a number of dogs that I can have. I can't go over that number. And this is just me because I know my limitations. You got to realize I not only feed my dogs and clean, we also build. I also do social media, take pictures, blah, blah, blah. So there's only so many dogs I can tend to, right? So my recommendation to you is figure out what that number is. And for every dog you keep, there's a dog that's got to go. I don't know if you guys got anything on that.
Oh yeah, you don't want to overwhelm yourself with too many dogs, and you know what I'm saying. To me, I mean, sometimes it's hard to even keep a brother and a sister. Sometimes it depends on the situation, but I mean, I've done it multiple times. You know what I mean? Because I knew I needed both sides of this puzzle. You know what I mean? So I've definitely done it, but I got the space to do it. You know what I mean? I got 2 acres and stuff like that. So I mean, some people just maybe not had the means to really keep a lot of puppies, and so like you were saying earlier, you got to think of the longevity and down the road, and you know what I mean? Every female is going to have at least 3 litters. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, you know what I mean? Hopefully she has a good 3 litters, so that's 3 more dogs right there that you should be keeping. You know what I mean? Every one female should turn into 4 dogs, basically.
Yeah. See, and that's when, like, so when you first get out, you're gonna have Donald. He's Donald now. Like Raul said, you're gonna have to be dynamic. You know what I mean? If you starting off, so if you find a female in that pup better than the female you gotta get rid of that female.
Yeah.
The mother, you got to get rid of the birth mother, and because you got better, and that's the key. The other thing is you, like what happened with us as we got more established, we was able to go out and vet ownership, and that way you continue to build. But not only that, you helping them build too, because like we have. Oh, that's another one I want to talk about, stud credits. You could be stuck with $10,000 stud credits you never use by doing prematurely pulling trigger because you see a pup. But anyway, you're able to help them build, and you know, and you may have produced a stud to continue to breed to that, or you can outcross it, or you can breed back to the line some type of way, you know, something that's in that line. But that's the key is you got to be dynamic. You got to pick the best dogs. If your female is better or your male is better, you got to get rid of the older adult dog, and then co-own, and finding good people to co-own with is key.
That's the hardest part, when you say. Usually, this is what happens with co-owns, guys. And look, man, everybody has a different way of seeing things. A lot of people, I'm about to say something that y'all need to hear, but I know a lot of you don't want to hear what I'm about to say. What happens with co-owns is there's usually an established breeder, and there's an up-and-coming breeder that wants what that established breeder has.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't worked the years that established breeder was there in order to be able to establish themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So usually they'll come into an agreement, and the agreement is, okay, the stud, we're going to go say 60-40 on the stud feed, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
What usually ends up happening is some point down the road, maybe 2 years down the road, the person that's keeping the stud feels that they shouldn't be getting 40% since they're 100% feeding the dog.
Yep.
And they are, you know, having to pick up its poop and having to deal with it. So they become dissatisfied with the original contract.
Yep.
Problem is, this breeder that was established and is putting that pup in your hands, he's already established. So he's either bringing in the clientele or he's marketing, whatever the case may be. And a lot of times, that's where the falling out comes in. Or even worse, when the female is co-owned and she is studded to an amazing male, and she produces an amazing top of the line pup. Now the dude that has been dealing with that female feels, well, it's not fair. We had a whelp to litter, and we had to do this. Well, you signed a contract that said this is exactly how it was going to go. How is it not fair now? So just be very careful. This is why Mike is saying, be very careful as to who you choose to do co-owning with, because a lot of issues are going to arise because expectations change over time, right?
Yeah.
Gary, have you ever? Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
Contract. Yeah, gotta have that contract, and yeah, definitely would. I mean, I've seen it in multiple ways, like you were saying, with a female owner, or the person sells them the female on the co-own. The female owner then been doing their own little research now, and they say, oh man, well, I don't want to spend $3,000 on this stud. I can go to my man's dog for, you know what I'm saying, for a puppy bag deal or whatever, something like that. And they just almost just trying to make some puppies instead of trying to progress the line and try to make the line better, like, you know what I'm saying, we agreed upon in the first place.
Yes.
I mean, they just trying to throw a monkey wrench in the deal now.
So that's key. The other thing would happen, say if you do it with a stud also, they could be selling credits under the table. But here's the thing.
Yes.
You got the papers to the dog, and they have to register the puppies. They don't care.
They don't care.
They just collected money. You know what I mean? They get excited. Say they get a dog that, you know, that it's an exciting dog, and then all of a sudden all these people are hitting them up. And then now he trying to get out the contract. You know what I mean? Like
my thing is this, bro. My thing is this. Honestly, if you're new and you're getting into this, maybe the best thing, try not to get into co-ownership. But if, say, you did, realize that your expectations may change, but the contract will always remain the same.
Yep.
Straight up, and that goes for both parties. So
I got a thing to throw in too that I noticed that a lot of like new breeders do. They try to almost, let's say, push a co-own on to people that's buying a puppy and telling them that, oh man, well, I'm gonna help you make this, we're gonna make that, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, trying to make it almost like a pyramid scheme, like we're gonna make money off of this dog, all you gotta do is this, and this. And you know what I'm saying, you can do the same thing I'm doing. So I do see that too. And to me, like, it's kind of almost setting the person up for failure a lot of times doing that, because especially if you're not established enough to, like, if you don't even have your own stud, you know what I mean, and you know y'all got to spend money on a stud, then, you know what I mean, and you don't, I mean, it just could be a whole bunch of not good.
Ronnie F is saying loyalties over royalties.
There you go.
The fact of the matter is, guys, I'm just keeping it real with you. I'm always that guy that tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. The reality is they want you in their pocket and behind them. And the problem lies that you're more than willing to be in their pocket and behind them when you sign that contract. Problem is, 2 years down the road, you don't want to be in their pocket and behind them anymore. And so all I'm saying is, know that when you go into a co-own, you're in their pocket and behind them. Whether you like it or not, that's just what a co-own is. It is what it is. Real quick, man.
If it's a good breeder, that's where you want to be at. In the behind and in the pocket. If it's a good reputable breeder, that's where you want to be at.
Some of the people's favorite dogs are here on a co-own and they don't even know it.
Right.
This is true. We got Georgetown Bully saying GC is a producer. We got Pendejo Schwango saying
that's a co-own right there.
Huh?
I said, I swear, go to Charles, co-own right there.
Yeah. We got Pendejo Schwango saying, if a dog lacks confidence as a pup, can they still be a quality show dog with the right training? This is for Mike, man, because Mike, you can answer that, man.
Okay, so it's different confidence. So if you got a dog that lacks confidence, just because the environment so I got a dog right now that lacks confidence. I say she's not confident like the rest of my dogs, but so what happened with her is I kept her in. We had a big old parvo deal going on, and I didn't want to bring her nowhere. Go to the vet. Donald can get the shots and stuff like that. Administer our own shots, but so she hadn't got out, and now we're about to go to a show. So what I've been doing is a lot of car rides to get her out of that anxiety of car rides. You know what I mean? And I'm spending more time with her than the rest of my dogs and putting her in situations where that not to show her it's not gonna hurt her. You know what I mean? I'm putting her in individual faces now, strangers. I want strangers to come up and pet the dog, and then they'll build that confidence up. You're gonna get it. But like a dog that's a high drive dog that doesn't lack confidence, they tend to do better in the show ring because nothing bothers them. Not the crowd, other dogs. Like they just walk in and own the place. So you'll be competing against that. But you can still show the dog and she can still do good. A lot of times what happens is if she get used to the environment, as the show go on, and you got to be on her and be the protector and build a confidence, keep loving on her, rubbing her. And as the show continues to go on, what I see on some of the dogs that lack confidence, they get better towards the end of the show. And by the time you go to your next event, they ready. They're not scared of the environment no more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it builds up.
Make it fun for them.
Gotta make it fun. There you go.
Yeah.
Fun, extra treats, over treating, extra loving and petting and affection. You got to go over the top with it, and even communicating in the ring. Oh, good girl, that's good job. Yeah. They may not be doing a good job.
Huge right there, hyping them up, talking to them while you're in the ring. Yeah.
Right.
So what are some of the things you tell your dogs in the ring? Either one of you.
I like, hey, let's go, girl. You got it. Hey, let's go. You do it. I'm out loud. People can hear me. I'm not. Hey, little girl, let's go. No, I'm talking to my dog. I'm getting hyped. And at home,
I'm trying to picture myself with Blueberry in the ring and wonder what I'd be saying to him. I might just sing the Blueberry Blues. I don't know.
There you go. But so I do. So I'm like in the ring, I'm hyping them up, but I'm doing it at home where they're confident and they're so it'd be something they're familiar with, and probably just trying to break that. Them just looking around everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. We got Jeremy Davis saying, Gaines Bullies, I own a pocket bullies of my own, but I haven't bred yet. What are some of the things to look out for when breeding bullies of the pocket class level? versus other classes of bullies. Interesting.
The pockets, man. The only thing I say, be careful. It depend. I would breed more to the taller pocket because you get in the 14-inch range, you might end up with a 12-inch dog. You know what I mean? So the heights could be inconsistent.
Good point.
Two, the pockets they're more compact than the other breeds, so you can get too compact where you lose that movement, and then stiffness in the back. You can have too much muscle on the dog where you don't have good movement up front and in the back. But as with the pockets, if you go a little higher, like the 16-inch pocket, 17 is standard, right, Gary?
Yeah, 17 and under pocket, 17 above. Right.
So if you stick in the higher ranges, 15 to 17, you get a better balance. But when you start getting the 14-inch range and breeding, then you can end up with some 12-inch dogs.
It's funny you say that, man, because talking about balance, I want to let people know, man, when I got Fireball, and he's 17 and a half inches at Withers, he's actually a classic. He's not a pocket. But his mom is a pocket and his dad is an XL. Either way, guys, I was feeding him kibble, feeding him that Victor kibble. And as you could see at 20 weeks, my boy Fireball started going to east-west on me. Luckily enough for me, I realized I needed to make some changes in his diet, which I did. And if you notice, by the time he hit 24 weeks, he still had slight east-west, but he started to improve. By the time he was 1, he cleared the east-west, and ever since then, he's been very clean up front. I didn't know it at the time, but I was pretty much feeding him the same stuff that Nuvet and NuJoint DS, bring in, which is Nuvet Plus, which is a multivitamin, and NuJoint DS, which is for joint support. Now, I didn't know the exact amounts. That's why my result wasn't as effective until I got him on this. But nonetheless, just know that you can order Nuvet or NuJoint DS. All you got to do, hold on, let me take that banner down because that is wrong. It is not Nuvet Labs. It is nuvet.com. Let me go ahead and fix that here real quick. All you got to do is go to nuvet.com and place in ordering code 513237. Here you go. Boom, there you go. So you go to nuvet.com and you need an ordering code because you can't buy this stuff in stores and you can't buy it without an ordering code. And the ordering code is 513237. Boom, there you go. And pretty much you can order on auto ship Nuvet and NuJoint DS, and you get an additional 13% off. Plus, I'm going to give you 2 free consults with me once you go ahead and make that purchase. I've seen nothing but good results with my dogs, to include most recently our newest champion in my yard, and that would be our girl Sunshine. Sunshine, as a smaller pup, this is what she was looking like. And we had her on Nuvet NuJoint DS since day 1 that she got here. And pretty much this girl went into her first show and tore it up, man. Out of 8 competitions against dogs of her same class, she won all 8 times, first place. Then best female going up against mature females. Mike, believe it or not, man, she went 6 out of 8. She won 6 times out of 8 times showing against adult females. If you don't want dietary east-west, and what I mean by dietary east-west is east-west caused by diet, because believe it or not, kibble is cooked at over 300 degrees, and once you hit 170, that's when proteins, and not just proteins, vitamins begin to denature. With a lack of vitamin C, you're probably going to end up with some serious issues, to include possibly dietary east-west. So I just wanted to throw that out there, man.
If you I was just talking about it. They starting out, they selling pups or selling that litter out. You just gotta be careful. Like, people tell you to guarantee them something, you know what I mean, that they're gonna have the greatest puppy in the world, the next golden child or whatever.
Right. There is
Yeah,
no guarantee in
there's
this.
no guarantee on none of your dogs. So like I said, I'm not gonna bring it, but anyway, I had established breeders wanted me to guarantee a grand champ. They produced a grand champ and didn't even pick they sold the grand champ as a pup,
Right.
but they want me to. But so you can't guarantee nothing, man. Don't guarantee the dogs that hey, this is show quality or whatever. If you want me to guarantee that, you pay me $20,000. I'll train the dog and keep it, champ it out, grand champ it out. And if it don't, I'll replace the dog and give me another 20 grand to do that one.
Right, absolutely. Omar McCallum is saying, do you guys recommend showing your dogs or leaving it up to consumers? Just make sure you're breeding great show quality dogs. So basically, do you guys recommend showing dogs in the ring or not showing dogs in the ring?
That's an easy way to get you established by showing quality dogs. Some of the big breeders, I don't care what breeder, everybody's starting to show ring. So you see those big breeders out there that's not showing dogs, they don't need to no more. But that's a quick way to start your brand is to network and meet people. And then say you have winning dogs. So I had Bad Betty. She won Best Grand Champion Female at Nationals. Well, now I have trainers and handlers buying dogs and judges. So now they're hitting the ring by other people. So it wouldn't be, and then it came to a point when these guys had dogs, but now, and then we kept some that we grand champ, kept two that we grand champ. We had a friend that showed dogs and he didn't stop, but
Right.
he grand champed that dog and we grand champ Bass. But what happened is as these dogs kept championing and grand championing, more people came out to buy our dogs to
definitely.
More show people.
Yeah, if you can show, it wouldn't be the worst thing. I mean, I for a long time didn't show, but eventually I got dogs in the ring. Being able to show that you could put a dog in the ring and it could champ out or even grand champ out shows that what your line is made of, what you're about.
You don't have to show if you do like Raul, where you can. I mean, you do dog research and you're able to put content out and have, because I found Raul at the beginning of my show career, found him online and I was stacking my dog on his platform, and that was another boost. You know what I mean? And then Raul come out doing an interview, that was another boost. So, but if you can establish the content, the love for the breed and able to put that content out there, you don't really have to show dogs, but if you can't do any of that, the easiest way is to show dogs.
My thing is this, and I did not produce this dog. I did not produce her. I bought her. Okay. But honestly, if you're producing dogs like this right here, in my opinion, if you are not a marketing machine, you need to put that dog in the ring.
Yeah.
You need to put that dog in the ring. Mm-hmm. Unless you're a marketing machine and you're able to have the time in the afternoon to take the pictures, post them, so on and so forth. If you're not a marketing machine, you need to put the dog in the ring and get eyeballs on it in the ring. Now, if you are a marketing machine and you could also put it in the ring, that's just even better. It's really that simple. Pendejos is asking, would you always use NuJoint DS and NuJoint Plus? For me, it's a no-brainer. Yes, I have seen night and day in my yard. I mean, I don't. Recently, I just had a dog for the first injury of 2024. Mind you, you see my dogs. They run up and down mounds. They do all sorts of craziness. I just had the first injury, and here's the kicker. Within 24 hours of the injury where he couldn't put weight on the leg, he's now putting weight on the leg and moving it. And I have a feeling that by the day after tomorrow, he should be 100% fine. I don't know if I could say that if my dogs were not on Nuvet. I'm just keeping it real with you, man. That's how much I believe in this product, and that's how much I've seen it, what I've seen it do. In fact, last year, check it out. Look at the improvement. Let me take down the comments so people can see. Look at the improvement in this dog in 18 days. 18 days. Only thing that changed was Nuvet was added. 18 days, guys. So, yeah, if you're asking me, yeah, the answer is going to be yes for me every single time. So, guys, we've come up to the end of our live, man. We've given out some good info. We've answered
I got one more thing. Pictures and all that. So when I noticed 4 years ago when I was doing it, was a lot of the like people that took pictures of studs that they used for 3 years. And so my idea was to post, since I took pictures, I said, Donald, we'll take these pictures and we're gonna post a stud every week, a new picture. You know what I mean? Or a puppy or whatever, a new picture. The other thing, don't be honest, man. Don't be scared your dog have flaws, man. I put my dogs on video, man, 4 years. With every flaw they have, they're on video, man, running around, enjoying themselves.
That's what I do.
We're honest. Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Honest.
There's a lot of people in this community photoshopping. You wouldn't even imagine the bigger names that you wouldn't even think that they needed a Photoshop. They will. So my thing to everybody watching is, if they can't produce what they're showing in a picture in a video, then you know it's a lie. It's that simple. Every single time, over and over again. Real quick,
you'll pop up the shows and that the dog don't look like the pictures, man.
We have a thing here. Pendejo's asking DS over Plus. No, man. Nuvet Plus is a multivitamin that's going to help you absorb what's in NuJoint DS. Not only that, you're going to have minerals in here that your dog needs. Even though NuJoint DS is amazing, there are minerals your dog needs. Your dog is a carnivore. Your dog doesn't just eat the chicken muscle, it eats the bone. So if you're not giving them the right mineral, you're going to run into issues. This is why these two things go together, guys. So let me bring my guy from the back, Hollywood, and let's start it out, Hollywood.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back of the queue, and we're catching you on the next one.
Gary P.
All right, everybody. Appreciate y'all for having me on again. Gary Pope with King Pope Kennels. See y'all on the next one.
All right. Gaines Bullies.
Mike Green, Gaines Bullies, man. Repping Donald and myself, man. We'll holler at y'all next time.
Hey, guys, you already know, man, this is the place where you're getting 30 years of breeding experience, talking to you live, answering your questions. If you want us to answer your questions, make sure you become a member for as little as $5 a month. We will answer your questions live. And if you want mentorship level membership, we got that too. Either way, guys, it's been Raw from the Queue, and I'll be catching you on the next one.
Someone told you bully breeding. That's where it's at. You don't care about ethics or morals. Cause the money is where it's at. Get back. Think you buy 2 dogs, a breed to make money and get fat like that. Get back. Better learn your breed standards and genetics before you get trapped.